Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are all doing very well. Happy Zim Gin time. It's back from outer space. Apologies for being so long in that, but I did take the festive period off, but I thought I'd get back into it. So, cheers to Small Town Stills for sponsoring us. I really appreciate the support and the bottles of gin, and I will enjoy one right now. So, give me a minute. So cheers. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you're all having a good one. Where do I start? I think the last Zim Gin I did was in Uganda, just before Christmas. So I will try and rattle through all of that and my trip back down to Zim, what I got up to over Christmas and New Year's, and then my little trip into Wangi this last couple of weeks. Something just flew into my eye. I'll try and work that out. But I will have to think about this. So I left Bwindi National Park, having walked through the gorillas, or walked with the gorillas, and then headed south to the border post. Hit the border post, ended up having the incident with the border officials just on the southern side of the border in Tanzania, where the cop knocked on the tent and kind of told me to move along, or no, they didn't tell me to move along. They escorted me to an actual campsite. So then from there I carried on down. I stayed at Make a Holiday, or Make a Home resort in the middle of Kasulu, I think it was called. Great little spot. The owner turned up the same day I was, so I had a chat with him. Very nice guy. Gave me a whole heap of mangoes to keep me eating fresh all the way down. And then to Lakeshore Camp and Lodge, which was absolutely stunning. Great spot if you are going to the kind of southern end of Lake Tanganyika in Tanzania. I would highly recommend that spot. From there, hightailed it over the border to Zambia. Got into Zambia. Again, conversations with my brother led me to Kapisha Springs, Hot Springs. Kapisha, I think it's called. Kapisha Hot Springs, which was absolutely phenomenal. Great to just chill out and sit in the hot, warm springs for a day, drinking beer and enjoying myself. Then the next day, Mark, actually from the Springs, actually arranged with his brother Charlie to go have a wander around Africa House. A heap of tradition and history in that house, and it's great to see. Or chatting to Charlie, he is passing it onto his family. So, hopefully it keeps going and it stays within the family, and all that history is not lost at any point. From there, hightailed it to Makushi. Stayed with Warren Zietzman, a old family friend that I haven't seen for donkey's years. I try to work it out, and I really don't know when the last time I saw him was. So from there, Makushi underwater at the moment, or before, there was a hell of a lot of rain. He actually got me to come in the back way because there's two bridges flooded on the farm, so he was unable to he took me the back road to get in, which was good. So great to catch up with him and his family. Then from there, I hit the Great North Road heading south, all the way down to Lusaka. Quick catch up with a couple of mates in Lusaka, a clean haircut, clean the beard up, because I knew my mother, it would be the first thing my mother would flag as I walked through the house. So it got cleaned up there. The North Road, the North Road was tough. It's a two-way highway, but there's probably a half foot or 20 to 40 centimeter drop off on either side of the tar, because of all the trucks going off the road. They've kind of just worn out and all the wet water and everything like that. So very, very bad road. But the problem is now it's starting to eat into the road. So when you're overtaking, and there's a lot of trucks, a lot of the copper trucks going up and down. So as you come out to overtake them, they start dodging a pothole, which means you get forced off the road and you hit and you go down. And I do remember one particular one. A, it was wet, and B, it was particularly bad because I went off and it was probably about a foot drop, so about a half a meter drop, and I felt that one. From there, from Lusaka, I headed to Kariba. The Kariba border post was an absolute pain in the ass. They did find my drone, the drone that I had brought into the country already, so it was not a new drone. But there was a lot of questions about it, and it seemed like every time I explained it to one person, another person would come up and start querying it. So I ended up dealing with, I believe, customs. Then I went to Zimra, and then Zimbabwe Defence Force, and then to finish it all off, it was Zimbabwean police. All had to come and search. I think they saw one person and thought there must have been something interesting. I explained everything. I showed them all the documentation that they needed, but everyone wanted to inspect. So I was hoping for about a 30-minute border post, but it ended up being about a 2-hour border post. So listen, life goes on. But from there, shot all the way home to Harare, got in at about 7 o'clock on the 23rd, so long haul all the way home, and yeah, fantastic to be home. My aunt and uncle from Scotland are here, so mum's twin sister, whose birthdays I missed while I was gallivanting, and then yeah, so had a great Christmas. I did give some coffee times, some other not coffee times, but we spent Christmas Eve at my aunt and uncle's at Borrowdale Trust. Then we went out to Doug and Ashley's for Christmas Day, and then we went to Squacky and Susie's in Macheki, Virginia area on Boxing Day. So it was absolutely fantastic to catch up with all of them. It's been a long time since we've had those kind of big Christmases like I remember, or at least with me there. So cheers to everyone for hosting Christmas and Christmases, and then we'll go from there. So after 3 days of overeating and overdrinking, I ended up heading out to Beefy Murray's. Again, overeating and overdrinking. Headed back into Marandera, hoping for a quiet, gentle night. I did just get that. But then I went into, where did I go next? Then it was New Year's. So I headed out to my cousins again, so Doug and Ash's, for a braai on the dam. Again, always so cool to sit outside on New Year's Eve, catching up with friends and family. And then we had little Muzza shooting off the double barrel shotgun and trying to be too smooth, and I think the gun jammed, which was quite funny. And that was the video you saw on New Year's Day. New Year's Day, and then again, just another relaxing day at home. And then on the 2nd, trying to think here. On the 2nd, end of the 2nd, I headed into town, and on my way into town, I was chatting to one of my mates who was in town at Mozambique. So again, someone I haven't seen pretty much from high school, and went and sat and had a couple of beers with the Langs. So Bryden Lang married to Diz, and Kingsley Lang married to Justine. Had 1, 2 beer, 3 beer, 4 beer, ended up back at their place, drinking more beer till about 1 o'clock in the morning. So by the time I actually got to my brother's house in Harare, I was done and dusted. And while I was hoping to try and get away on the 4th, the morning of the 4th, The third was a write-off, which meant the fourth was going to be my planning and prepping day. So eventually, on the fourth, got packed, ready, did all my shopping, took my nephew for his flying lessons at Hellenic School, which was pretty cool. He did really well until my brother decided to say, let's race, which is never a good thing when you're teaching someone, because then all the training goes out the window and it's pandemonia. So, Brian, remember that for next time. And then, so then on the 5th, I jumped in the car and headed up to Wangi. But instead of going down to Bulawayo and then up the Vic Falls Road, I was advised strongly against that. So they advised to go up to Karoi and then turn left at Karoi and go through past Matusodona, Binga, Milabisi, then hit Detta Crossing, hook a right towards Vic Falls, and then kind of go into Wangi that way. The initial plan was to stay at Matusodona, but Kieran Meredith got hold of me and advised me not to, A, because it's rainy season, but B, he suggested Chisarera, which was absolutely stunning, probably one of my favorite places. The campsite right on the top of the gorge, looking into the gorge. A little bit sad I didn't get to see a sunset there because I got in fairly late because of the roads, but definitely somewhere where I will probably end up going again, because it was breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. First thing in the morning, you wake up to that, you sit and you have your coffee overlooking it. It's just absolutely stunning. So if you are a Zimbabwean and you've been to all the local places, try that out. Chisarera National Park. It's absolutely stunning. The roads are bad. I would break it up. I'd get probably into Karoi maybe, and maybe a little bit further, but break it up. I think I did about 11 hours that day. So do a halfway stop somewhere. I know the farmer's wife does have campsites there, so you can spend the night there and then crack on in the morning from there. But stunning. They're in partnership with a program called Defend. So look into it, look it up, and get involved. It's a hell of a place to go and just special. From there, that road from Chisarera to Detta Crossing was absolutely awful. I think it's actually from Benga to Detta Crossing. Is absolutely awful. It will take you forever. It is a tar road that is potholed to hell. It looks like it's been shot with a shotgun 15,000 times. So it's very slow going, but you do get there in the end. I hooked a right and then came up into Robbins on the, I'm not even going to try it, Matitsi Road, I think it is, and then into Robbins. I spent 2 nights in Robbins. As I said, tried to do the wild camping on the second night, but I'd already paid. So Robbins is a private campsite, so just something to be aware of. It is a private campsite, and then from there, from Robbins I had to Detta Dam, Detema Dam. I know my cousin's going to have an absolute field day with this one because I'm getting all the names wrong. But they allowed me to wild camp there, and I stayed probably about 2 k's north of the dam. And some of you guys have seen the videos of the lions. I had elephant right next to the tent in the morning or that evening. The lioness in the afternoon, and then in the morning the 3 lions. I am actually told by a mate of mine, B, who's actually becoming a guide here in Wangi, that there's actually a coalition of 4 male lions. I did not see 4, I saw 3, plus the 2 females, plus the 2 cubs. So, and then a herd of ellies. I hadn't even got out of bed yet. I was a little bit nervous too, but yeah, all that before I even got out of bed and had my coffee. It was just an unbelievable day. And then today I headed out. Where did I go today? Shamu. I went to Shamu camp or Shumba camp. I don't think it's Shumba. But anyway, I went to that camp. Unfortunately, it was booked, so I've come back to Mandevu Dam. Mandevu? Yeah, I'll go with that. Mandevu Dam, where I'll spend tonight, and then tomorrow hopefully go to Inkweshla camp, and then from there head south out of the park along the railway line, and then from there hit Bulawayo, and then go up into Harare. But what I might do is, I think it's Mashringo, there is a right turn that takes you the Wedzaway. So from that Wedzaway, I'll head up into Marondera that Wedzaway. So we will see how that all goes. As I said, I think the trip from Uganda to Zim was a 44-hour drive. I want to say thank you to all those people who phoned in, messaged, WhatsApped, voice noted, thumbs up and all that. You know, it kept me entertained for that long trip. I think most of the days I was doing about 10 hours. So long driving, but yeah, very chuffed that I got home in time for Christmas and to spend it with the family and everything. It's always special. And yeah, so the plan for the next couple of weeks is fairly busy, lots of traveling. So from here, I travel to the States, and then I'll be in Chicago, in Michigan, Tennessee, and then Indiana, and then back home to Zim. I've got a few things to wrap up in the States. With regards to my personal belongings and selling off Rosie's Biltong. So anyone in America who wants to take on a biltong business, give me a shout. Sell some of the tools that I'm not going to bring over, and then present to my company. Present to my company about a project that I have that they may be interested in. And if that all comes off, then I will share it with you. Until then, I've got to try and keep it quiet so that I am first to market when it comes to that sort of thing. And then from there, back to Zim. From Zim to Rwanda, going to go catch up with my mate Luke Davey in Rwanda, working with his guys with some drone training, but also doing some carpentry work. So that will be fun. And then from Rwanda, come back to Zim, and then from there I'll hit up Botswana, Namibia, Angola, so the southern Angola, lower Angola, and then wrap up in Zambezi, hopefully April, beginning of April, maybe. We'll see how the funds are doing. But yeah. So far, it has been an absolutely fantastic trip. Busy as all hell, lots of driving, but I really enjoy driving, so it doesn't really bother me doing 10-hour days. I'm going to have a sip. So it doesn't really bother me, so I really enjoy driving. So I think I've put about 18,000, probably about 19,000 Ks on the clock on the truck at the moment. So she is working hard. I did have a little issue this morning. I found that the control box for the winch had actually snapped off its mount. They have two little rivets that hold it on, and yeah, after all the roads I've driven on, I think they kind of wore out. So I spent most of this morning after the lines fixing that and got that all squared away. And yeah, other than that, I am in good spirits. I'm actually feeling very good. There's a lot of opportunities that are coming up and that I'm very excited about. I think they're great opportunities, for me, but also for conservation and the greater conservation, greater spectrum of conservation. And if it all comes off, I'm hoping for a very cushy job. Very demanding job, but very cushy in terms of helping save what we have in Africa. As I say, I think I read yesterday 2 million square miles of protected areas in Zim or in Africa, and it is protected by only 60,000 or 65, between 60 and 65,000 rangers. So anything we can do to help that will be a benefit, and hopefully the project I'm working on will be able to do that and allow me to continue to travel, but also help, which is the main thing. But yeah, so that is my Zim Gin Time. Again, big thanks to Small Town Stills for sponsoring. I do know he's into coffee now, so maybe he will start sponsoring my coffee time. Wink, wink, smile. Jace, we love you. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. Be safe, be good, or be good at it. Have a great one, guys. Chat to you later. Bye.